It was just after midnight. A young man stood quietly outside his apartment, keys in hand. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't armed. He wasn't a threat. But in just seconds, he was dead. 41 bullets, 19 hit, fired by 4 men sworn to protect. The sidewalk on Wheeler Avenue in the Bronx became a scene of horror, and America was once again forced to ask, why does this keep happening? Amadou Diallo was just 23 years old, a street vendor, an immigrant, a dreamer. Born in Liberia and raised in Guinea, Amadou came to America with big hopes, to study, to work, to build a life. He sold videos and merchandise on the streets of Manhattan, saving up to enroll in college. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't violent. He prayed regularly and called his mother almost every day. By all accounts, Amadou was kind, soft-spoken, and deeply respectful. He lived in the Soundview neighborhood of the Bronx and kept to himself. But none of that mattered when 4 NYPD officers mistook him for someone else. It was February 4th, 1999. The city was tense. Crime had been falling, but fear still lingered in every corner of New York. The elite street crimes unit, known for its aggressive tactics, was patrolling the neighborhood. That night, 4 plainclothes officers Sean Carroll, Richard Murphy, Edward McMillan, and Kenneth Boss drove past 1157 Wheeler Avenue. They saw Amadou standing in the vestibule of his apartment building. He looked suspicious, they said, matched the description of a serial rapist. When they pulled up and got out, they said Amadou ran. In truth, Amadou stepped back inside the building, likely confused, likely afraid. He reached into his pocket to show them something. One officer shouted, "Gun!" and then chaos erupted. They opened fire. In a span of less than 5 seconds, 41 bullets were discharged. 19 of them struck Amadou. In the chest, the legs, the feet, the spine. He collapsed in the doorway of his home. The object he had reached for? Not a gun, not a knife. It was his wallet. The public outrage was instant. New York exploded in protest. Civil rights leaders, students, and everyday citizens flooded the streets. Because Amadou wasn't a criminal. He wasn't even suspected of a crime. He was a young black man who was killed for being black and standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mayor Giuliani defended the police. The NYPD called it a tragic mistake. But for Amadou's parents, who had sent their son to America believing it was safer than war-torn Africa, it was a nightmare beyond comprehension. The case sparked a national reckoning. About race, about police power, about the truth behind the badge. Eventually, all 4 officers were indicted for second-degree murder and reckless endangerment. It seemed at last like justice might be on the horizon. But here's where the power shift came in. The trial wasn't held in the Bronx, where the shooting happened. It was moved to Albany, a city with a whiter, more conservative jury pool. Prosecutors called it a miscarriage of justice before the trial even began. During the proceedings, the officers claimed they thought Amadou was pulling a gun. They described a chaotic, terrifying moment, a split-second decision. But forensic experts pointed out something chilling. Amadou had been shot while falling. Some bullets hit him while he was already on the ground. Still, the jury deliberated just 2 days. And the verdict? Not guilty. For all 4. Not guilty. Despite 41 shots. Despite 19 wounds. Despite no weapon ever being found. The court had spoken. But America had not forgotten. Amadou Diallo's name became a rallying cry. His face appeared on protest signs, murals, and magazine covers. His story was shared in classrooms, courtrooms, and communities across the nation. Music artists wrote songs, activists mobilized, and in 2004, the Street Crimes Unit, the same unit responsible for Amadou's death, was disbanded. His mother, Kadiatou Diallo, became a fierce advocate for police reform. Her words rang through the halls of Congress and echoed in the hearts of grieving families everywhere. "We came here because we believed in the promise of America. That promise failed my son. But I still believe we can make it right." Amadou's death helped fuel the early fires of a movement that would continue to grow in the years ahead. A movement that demanded justice, accountability, and change. Amadou Diallo's story is not just about bullets. It's about the blind spots in our justice system. It's about how fear can override training, how implicit bias can become a death sentence. But it's also about what comes after. The fight, the awakening, the demand that this never happen again. He didn't get justice in court, but he got something bigger, a movement. And his story will not be silenced, because Amadou Diallo didn't die in vain. He became a name we whisper when we march, a name we shout when we demand change, and a name we remember when we say, no justice, no peace. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future deep dives into the most shocking true crime cases. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more true crime cases that demand to be heard.